Quilt Roadies. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate the company. Today is going to be continuing to tack the binding day. And I'm going to show you all the quilts on that rack. I'm trying to decide which one or two that I might take with me to retreat in September. Can you believe that it's already August? It's just like that. Kind of like on Bewitched when she does her thing with her nose and suddenly everything is... Wouldn't that be awesome if I could just do that with all that quilting over there? But I decided to take a couple of small projects to quilt. Kind of like sometimes when you're on retreat, you're like a captive audience. There's nothing else in your life that's screaming for attention. Your toilet bowls don't need cleaning. Your groceries don't need shopping for. On retreat, you stay in your jammies. You don't put the girls in a holster. And you just get stuff done. And so I'm looking forward to that. And I decided to include a little bit of quilting, and since I'll only be taking a small machine, I have decided to just quilt like a table runner or a wall hanging, something like that. So I'm going to go through that whole pile with you later in this video. But in the meantime, we're going to catch up while I hope you got your stitching, because I am working on side 3 of my facing on my Hugs quilt, and we shall just hang out and stitch together. I have a little snack. I am addicted to these grapes. They're called cotton candy grapes. I've never seen them before this year, but I am totally addicted to them. They're so sweet. And then I have my little orange vanilla polar. Yep, gotta have that. Oh, but let me tell you something. So yeah. What can I say about so yeah? It's dangerous. It's not because they blow up Berninas or they drive over them with a backhoe. Such a boy thing. But it is hard, even when I just want to be entertained, it's hard because they have got it going with the lines of fabric. And luckily for me, tonight, I can't go on there because I have a Zoom meeting. My Zoom people are keeping me from getting sucked down that rabbit hole. But I was just watching... Look at that heavy box. I was just watching them. Yeah, it's kind of like, it's the QVC in the quilting world. And they showed this bundle of fabric, and by gosh, I couldn't press the button fast enough. I'm really excited because I got a phone call that my guest bed is showing up. Yes, it's showing up later this month. And you know, he told me, this poor guy, I mean, everything is so, well, you know that. I'm saying the same old thing. Back ordered. So he called, the salesman called me and said they had 77 beds ordered. And they were already spoken for. Which one was mine? It's crazy out there. It's crazy out there. But since I got excited about the potential of having a guest bedroom, and it's going to be in the toy room, duh, you know, multi-purpose. Actually, when Robin came up to visit me, she slept on the floor here in the beehive. I'm not sure she would even sleep on a guest bed in a separate room. I think I have to kind of pat her down when she goes home to see if she looks like she's put on a little bit of weight overnight. Because I'm leaving her alone in the beehive at night. Yes. But you know that the toy room is an ode to my parents. And what a life they had together. I mean, they were, they were, well, they must have been incredibly brave to have gotten married to begin with, because no one wanted them to be married. And their whole relationship was based on risk and hard work. And I know I probably told you this before, but one day my dad borrowed a little rowboat. I must have been about 7 or 8 years old, and he borrowed a rowboat, and it was just him and I. Temperament-wise, he and I were very similar, and so we hung out a lot together. And he was rowing me around the Elkhorn Slough, which is a brackish waterway that's off of the Monterey Bay. It's a beautiful place to go kayak or canoe now. A lot of people do that, or paddleboard, to see the birds and some sea life, seals, but it's brackish water, and it leads out into the bay. Well, we were rowing up in a little rowboat, and he was telling me his dreams, and he said, someday I'm going to get a sailboat. And he did. In fact, he got 2 different ones. So naturally, I have such wonderful memories of growing up on Monterey Bay and sailing. And sailing is not like people envision sailing, like you're in your bikini laying on the bow getting sun. No, sailing is work. What did I see? Oh, I don't have my phone. I saw a cross stitch that was totally hysterical to me. It said something like, sailing is moments of calm shared by moments of sheer terror. And that's the honest to God truth. And Monterey Bay is the deepest canyon in the world. So a lot of times if boats have sunk there or planes have gone down in the bay, if they slip off the shelf down a canyon, they're never to be seen again. Oh, I'm going on and on. So the toy room / guest room is an ode to my parents' sailing and to the adventures that they had. So since the bed was coming in, I got all excited when I was on So Yeah, and I saw this bundle of fabric. I tried to not click the numbers. I tried really, really hard, but they were 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I said 11 or 12? 12 one-yard cuts. Oh, yes, it's 12. There they are. 12 one-yard cuts of all this sailing. Now let's see if I can do this like Brody does on So Yeah. So these one-yard cuts, all themed for sailing and the ocean, and I have to make a quilt for that bed. I mean, I have to. And so when they came up with this, there was just no doubt. I don't know what else I can say, but some things are a must, and I saw them show the pack of fabrics, and I said, okay, I'm making a queen-size quilt, and so I need the big bundle of the sailing fabric, and that's all there is to it. I mean, really. Yeah. So that came in the mail. And I loved how they packed it, because it was packed in one of those shipping boxes, you know. But it was so packed in there that there was like this little bulge at the top. Yeah. And then, to top off this week, I received a sweet, sweet note and package from Mary. You know who you are. I think what I can say about this is there are a lot of us that have different challenges in life, and we don't necessarily always know what someone else's challenge is, but guaranteed, as humans, we are all going to experience these different challenges. It's part of the human existence. And anytime we can spend a moment listening to someone, or really it's the listening to someone that's so important. Sometimes people don't need a solution or an answer. They just need to speak their story. And I would encourage you to live the life of a listener. It is truly a blessed skill. The note she wrote just really warmed my heart in knowing that, at least for her, I know that she felt listened to and that she could feel me too. And the note was more than I could have ever asked for. It was such a kind exchange. But then she sent me some goodies. And I love this little music pack thing that says, "A little G love." A little G love. I'm going to use it, the hexie. Of course, there was bee fabric. And I've never seen this one. This is a hoot and a half. You know, I think this is going to be, ooh, it is. It's going to be enough for a bee pillowcase. Oh, my grandkids will love this. And I'll say, hey, the bee says it's time for sleep. And since, I don't know how she knew, well, she does know that I am, because she's gone on to So Yeah, I'm sorry for those of you that I've steered you to the brothers. But look at these cute little sailing fabrics. I think that this little sailboat could be the center of a hexie, and these little ones could be around the, there's just so much opportunity. But here's the thing, there was this other, I was going, what the heck is this that's in this box? Blew me away, absolutely blew me out of my quilting water. I have never seen anything like this before. It is so outside my realm of possibilities of ever making something like this. So I was really excited to get it, because now I don't have to figure out how to make one. I don't even know how this is done. This is the craziest thing. But it's a fabric box that's like what you would see at a Chinese takeout restaurant. And it has this beautiful bee and thread charm on the top. And then when you open it, just, you know, it has a snap opening, but you open it just like you would a, the box, you know, the takeout box. There's all kinds of things in here, but look at this. Look at this. It's filled with a pin cushion, snips, threads, a tape measure. She must know that I need a lot of these. And then you just put it back together into a little takeout box. Oh, Mary, you are the bomb. I mean, this is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. You know, there's some things that just, you know, people are genius. People are just genius. I just love it. So thank you so much. Thank you so, so much. But your note warmed my heart. I wish you guys could taste these cotton candy grapes. Sorry for eating. So what have you been working on? Summer's kind of hard to get motivated. You want to be outside, and I actually bought a black-eyed Susan. I think that's what that, it's a big one though. I thought they were smaller plants, but the flowers are about the size of my head. But they're absolutely gorgeous. I bought one plant and I planted it. I realized I didn't have a regular grass rake, so we went to Fred Meyer's and I picked up a grass rake. I'm so happy that the part came in for my air conditioner. I've been spoiled. You know, we used to never have an air conditioner, and it's one of those things, like, once you've had a piece of See's candy, you can never go back to, like, Hershey's. Don't tell Hershey that, though. But, it's, once you've had air conditioning, it's really hard to adjust without it. Probably if I'd never had air conditioning, I'd be perfectly fine. But we haven't been sleeping all that well. Although last night was another, our bedroom was so warm, and we have the windows open across the house so the breeze can come in. And but during the night the temperature did drop, and so I slept better than I had for a few days. We have a lot of the Delta variant in different counties and on the West Coast, and so that has presented a problem. But I don't know. Maybe it's because the areas I worked at in the hospital, I pretty much spent most of my time with a mask on, and I don't have a problem wearing a mask. I mean, naturally, if I had my way and it was hot, I wouldn't wear one, but I don't know, it doesn't cause me to have a tantrum. It doesn't cause me to have a tantrum. Okay, so let's see, I need a pair of scissors. Okay, there's a pair of scissors. This, you can't see it, but there's a magnetic, well, maybe you can see it. This is a magnetic knife strip that I bought at IKEA. And I actually, because the base of this table is metal, that strip is magnetic to the table. But I'm sure you could mount it on a wood table with command strips. And then my scissors and my tweezers and everything just are magnetized. And it's just a really organized. Occasionally I have moments where I feel quite proud of my organizational skills. It does not happen very often. But there are things that were made for other purposes that turn out to be fabulous for a sewing room, and that is one of them. The other is over by my sewing table over there. If you can see little round canisters, that actually is a steel plate that I got at IKEA that has magnetic spice canisters. I got it in the kitchen section. And so I mounted the strip onto the wall, and then the canisters have things like rotary blades in them, and you know, the clips, like these binding clips, I have those in there. I realized that I was getting way behind on myself, and so I started yelling at the work around here. You know, Jesse and Woody were not, you know, they were taking longer breaks than I usually allow them. And so they called their friend Buzz Lightyear. And you'll know Woody and Jesse from my Instagram. And I know my Instagram is not public because I'm paranoid, and it's not about you, it's about me. It's kind of like my blog is public, and so I constantly have to keep an eye on who's commenting on that blog, because sometimes I'll get prints from Kathmandu or something, or someone who wants to send over housekeeping from South America, or I have girls or boys for you, and I have to delete those. I just don't want to have, you understand, you want some safety and privacy, and so my Instagram and Facebook, neither of them are public. I have to approve who goes on there, and it is a process for me, because if I can't, because I check each one, and if I can't tell that you're a quilter or cross stitcher, and that means you have a lot of you know, you have pictures posted, then I'm reluctant, because I really don't know. And I've been blessed that I've never been hacked, but that's because I think I'm so paranoid. And I still don't understand why someone has an account and they'll have like 0 postings, but they'll have like 72 followers. I'm not sure what that's about. I am not tech savvy at all. I am a girl just wants to share her stitchy life. So people have approached me, like at the quilt show or something, and saying, hey, I'd like to be on your Instagram account. And if I've met them, or they somehow have been able to contact me and say, hey, this is my Instagram account, I'd like to be on yours, then I'm all for it. But going blindly at it, yeah, I don't do it too often. I check regularly, but if I can't tell, then I'm not quite. It's not about you, though. It's all about this paranoid, want to be careful person. Yeah. Now, why did I bring all that stuff up? Oh, Woody and Jesse, that's why. Because Woody and Jesse, you know, they show up on my Instagram account every so often. And they've got a sense of humor, but they are not necessarily the best little helpers. And so Buzz Lightyear showed up today. But the one thing they do like is they like to go camping. We have not done enough camping. That's all there is to it. It just seems like the summer has been going so quickly. I look out the window and, oh, I've got to look up what that means. Someone left me a comment about the dog days of summer. I got to figure out what that means. I've heard it before, but I'm not quite sure about it. Yeah. I started reading Kristen Hanna's latest book. I think it's her latest one, called Four Winds. Boy, you know, it's about the period of time during the Dust Bowl, 1920s, 1930s. She is such a fabulous writer. But I'm really enjoying this read because my mother had that famous photograph of that mother with the children during the Dust Bowl. I know you know that photograph. It's a famous photograph that you see every so often all over the news or in historical literature about the Dust Bowl. And she looks so tired and hard-worked and worn, and she's sitting there, and her kids and her hair is all, not that mine's much better, but my mother had that photograph hanging in her house for years, and she used to say she loved it. It's a sad-looking photograph. This woman looks like she was just exhausted with living, but my mom said it made her realize how blessed her life was and how hard some people worked to make their life. And that's what this Four Winds by Kristen Hanna is. And I am enjoying the read. Really enjoying the read. Okay, before this gets to be too long, how about we go over there and look at everything on there, okay? So I'm going to stop the camera for a minute, let G do his magic to blend it together, and I'm going to move the camera closer so you can see, okay? Hang in there. This is going to make a mess for me, but what happens sometimes is I forget all of this is here. It just becomes like one big color wall. But when I take one off or have to rearrange, sometimes it gets me excited and I think, oh, I need to get that done. So this is good for me, and maybe it'll inspire you also. I will not be able to tell you the names of these patterns, who the designer is, because it's, you know, I can kind of give you a vague idea only because it's been so long that I have no clue exactly who the designer is. Some I do know, but, well, naturally, this pattern is not really available anymore. This was a buttermilk basin. Stacy designed this for me to teach at Quilters Affair in 2019. And I love it because it has the three sisters right here in the sewing machine. And then she had a gentleman, a local gentleman to her, to make those wooden quilt blocks that you attached. But isn't that cute? I know this isn't going to be one of the ones that I quilt because I'm still toying with the idea of making it as part of a larger quilt. So I'm going to just step off as I drop these down. Right now on this one is not ready. This one is not ready to quilt. I'm still machine appliquing the raw edges on this quilt. This might be, don't quote me, it might be a Jeff's Mom's pattern. But I have some of the, looks like I just have the birds to do. I purchased this fabric at a quilt shop in Poulsbo, Washington. That's all I know about it. But this whale, the whale was laser cut, and it's fused on there. It feels like a little bit like a, I don't know what you call it. It's soft, but it was laser cut, and they sold the laser cut motifs in a shop in Poulsbo, Washington. And then I bought the fabric to, and I might quilt this one at retreat. Hope this doesn't get to be too boring for you. This was just a pinwheel quilt. I did a regular pinwheel block out of Halloween colored fabrics, and I made like a table topper, a Halloween table topper. This would be a fun one to quilt. I just used up a charm pack on this one. I had this charm pack and I just put it together on my own. I cut up the charm pack, the 5-inch squares, you know, and I just mixed them all up. I cannot remember who the designer of this fabric was, but it's been a while. That could be a wall hanging or a table topper. This was a panel quilt? Well, this needs to go in the toy room. This quilt was a kit that I bought, I believe, from Keepsake Quilting, out of one of their magazines. Gosh, I'm challenging myself because I can feel it on the tip of my tongue. Because I made the full-size, queen-size quilt, which I bring out every Christmas and put on my couch. And it had an additional pattern. This might be a bummer for you because I don't have the name of any of these things. But with the leftover fabric, she made a table runner. And it's a Christmas gift table runner. So you see the presents. Love the colors of that. I believe this one, all I have left to do is to hand buttonhole stitch the border. All the pumpkins. The pumpkins are all fused on there. And I do know that this was a pattern from Primitive Gatherings. So I kind of need to leave that out on top because that would be an easy stitch while you're watching TV. This was another charm pack that I had that I just went ahead and made into a table runner. And I think it's so sweet. See, and I made it where the charm pack motifs were upside down, so when it laid on the table, and no matter what side of the table you were on, you'd have the right side up motifs. Ooh, everything fell down. Now, I know that I got this kit from Old World Quilt Shop, I believe it was. And it's wool on flannel. And it's for a big, bench pillow. And this is for a Christmas present I'm giving to someone. This was a jelly roll quilt. With French General fabrics. And I do not know what pattern it was, but it's kind of like just kind of crazy block, all the same block over and over and over again. You just mixed up the French General fabrics. This is another giant pillow, and this quilt shop is closed. It used to be in West Lynn, and I bought the kit. So cute. So cute. Somebody's trying to back up or something. And then this one, I have to do all the, I decided to raw edge machine applique the motifs. So this quilt is all together, but I have to deal with the motifs, which should be easy and fun. And then this will be ready to quilt. Man. And that's it. That's all of them that were hung there. So see, now that I have seen them all, because some were buried on top of others, I'm like thinking, oh, I need to get this and this and this done, and I should take this, this, and this. So that's the way it goes in my brain and my world. I hope I inspired you to take a look at what's buried around your sewing space. And we shall meet you next time back here in the beehive. Thank you for hanging out with me. Please make sure you're subscribed and that you click the notification button so you know when I upload a video. And we'll see you next time around. Love you guys.